Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Mr. Anger, back with you for another episode of the Mr. Anger Show. Alright, yes, as you can tell, I got my ears lowered. Uh, I'm twice as ugly now. Thanks for the support, people. I appreciate it. Um, I decided to get my hair cut if you don't know what ears lowered means. In case you're not old enough or you never heard that term, I mean, some people haven't. Uh, Went to see John Wick 2 last night, or Chapter 2. I don't know why they called it John Wick Chapter 2 instead of just John Wick 2, but, maybe to differentiate themselves from, sequels or just not, saying, hey, we put the Chapter 2 in there so that way it's just not another sequel. It's a very good movie. It's a very good movie. If you like John Wick 1, you will love John Wick 2. The action set pieces are just beyond wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I sat down, I had a great time. I miss action movies. I'm a reminiscent person of the 80s and 90s genres of action. I was thrilled to death when Expendables came out. I was thrilled to death with Taken. And, but as of right now, there's not that many action genres. The action movie genre has just kind of died out. You got comic book movies, but I do not count them in the same context as an action movie. I don't consider them like Lethal Weapon, Die Hard series, or Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, or Sylvester Stallone movies, or Bruce Willis movies. Uh, they don't have the same feel as the old action movies. Comic book movies don't. They're still fun. Comic book movies are fun. They're a different type of action. They're more of action adventure than a mainstream action movie. John Wick is mainstream action. I do have a few complaints, but don't get me wrong, they're minor. They're very minor complaints that can easily, be overlooked, or depending on your perspective, you might agree with me, you might disagree on my perspective of things, but hey, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them. Most of them stink. Well, all of them stink, actually. But there was a girl that was in there. She was part of the main bad guy's crew that just seemed out of place in the movie. She was a mute girl, but she was a trained assassin, or she was an assassin from what I'm guessing, uh, according to her role, she is an assassin or a hitman or something of that nature, or an extremely well trained bodyguard. Uh, they presented her as a main enemy antagonist, like you were expecting a big fight to happen when John Wick and her go head to head. And it wasn't that much of a grandiose fight. It was kind of, but it was still good, but it wasn't the big old fight, in fight scene that we've grown accustomed to in action scenes. So it kind of left you, going, okay, we spent the whole movie thinking that they're going to really get into it and it's going to be an epic ass battle in between the two. And then it just, yeah. But even her character, it just seems so out of place with the rest of the surroundings. And I'm not trying to be mean towards the actors. It's just that, I don't know, she just stood out from the rest of the picture. And that it kind of threw me off. Um, I don't know if it was the way they dressed her. I don't know. It just, she seemed she seemed like a separate part. She wasn't part of the movie. She was just in there. And it kind of bothered me a little bit, but it wasn't to the point that it just made the movie unenjoyable or anything like that. It's a minor annoyance, a minor little thing that you can overlook. It's like, oh, it's her again. Whatever. Um, they did do good justice with female assassins in the first movie. I love the woman that went after John Wick in the first movie. She was really good. Um, Other than that, I think there was, John Wick 2 lacks the emotional connection that you have in John Wick 1. And they could have remedied that with, 2 minutes of extra footage. They could have remedied that whole situation and gave the audience a more of emotional, in-depth feel. There's a scene where John Wick is in a bank, and it's kind of like a bank. It's basically a hitman's bank. But anyways, he screams out loud because he's being forced to be back into this lifestyle again. But other than that scream, it doesn't. They could have shot 2 minutes of extra footage to show the emotional connection in between. Hey, I really miss my wife. I love the time with my wife, and I really don't want to be back doing this no more. I did this, I did the last movie incident because, they destroyed the last link to my wife. It wasn't a business situation, it was personal, so I took care of my personal needs. I'm not back in this life. But, they could have expanded the emotional feeling and resonance that they had in the first one through the second one, but they missed a lot of opportunities to do that. But yet again, it's not something that's going to completely detract you from the movie. It's not going to throw you off from the movie or anything like that. It would have been nice if they added that emotional context and gave you the same emotional feeling that you had from the first one, with his connection with his wife. I think they can do a better job in the next movie of conveying that message and getting that emotion back into it. That a lot of people have been saying, hey, it's missing this, it's missing the emotion. Well, yeah, it is, but then again, it's still a great movie. Go sit back, have some popcorn, enjoy, have fun. It's a great time if you're into the action genre type movies. Keanu Reeves did 95% of his stunts. He said, you could tell, I mean, you can't tell, you can if you pay close enough attention, you know what you're looking for, like during the car scenes when he gets hit by a car, that's a stunt man. And he says, only 5% of the movie was done by stuntmen because Keanu Reeves does everything himself, and he went through grueling training to be able to perform these tasks on camera. You could tell where the majority of the 5% is. I'm just going to say it involves a staircase. And the only reason I could say that was for sure a stuntman is because I know that an insurance company would not insure a Hollywood A-lister to do the stunts on those stairs that was required for him to do. So it had to be left over for a stuntman. So go enjoy it, have fun. Of course, there's a bunch of subjects here that we're going to get into. I'm trying to do more lighthearted episodes. Last night was the Grammys. I didn't watch them. I just kind of looked at the results the next morning. Adele won 5 of the awards, beating out Beyonce. And then people are debating, about Adele versus Beyonce. Taking aside my personal opinion of Beyonce, we're going to just nix that out of the equation right now, or whatever anybody's personal feelings is towards whether you like her, dislike her, or anything like that. We're just going to go on pure vocal talent here. Okay, Beyonce's a good artist, a good singer. She is. But at the same time, she is nowhere near the vocal capabilities of such talent as Adele. Adele has an operatic voice with so much range and depth in her voice that it puts Beyonce to shame. There was no competition there. You can't compare Beyonce to Adele's vocal talents because Adele just blows her out of the water. Beyonce is more like a category of Pink, Avril Lavigne, those type of artists. Adele is more along the lines of great vocalists such as Celine Dion, Aretha Franklin, not Mary J. Blige, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, those type of artists with real vocal talent. Because if you threw a competition at Adele and Beyonce and said use your and base it off of vocals, Adele will blow her the hell out of the water in a heartbeat. Now, if they said, you have to sing along one key that both performers could do, it might be a little bit tougher, but still Adele has the edge. Now, entering my personal perceptions of this, I'm sorry, it's just when it comes to Beyonce, when she came out on stage during the Super Bowl in the Black Panther outfit, she displayed a racist outfit. The Black Panthers have targeted opposite colors and killed them. There's a long laundry list of it happening. You can go look it up yourselves. I can't endorse anybody that displays racist behavior, and she does. She's a racist. Pure and simple. And I will not tolerate that from anybody. And I'm surprised she still has a career after that little incident. Because if it was anybody else or any other color that associated a racist type of behavior on stage, their careers would be over. But somehow Beyonce manages to continue on. And don't get me wrong, I used to like her back in the day, back during Destiny's Child and when she first went out into the solo. She has good talent. She's not, as talented as other vocalists, but she still has some pretty good talent. But I just don't condone racism by anybody. If any group or band or artist or actor or anybody puts out a racist behavior, I'm not going to endorse them no more. I'm done with them, and as it should be. But, Beyonce gets a pass for some reason, and I don't understand it. I just don't. I don't get it, which led to a bunch of debates online this morning about, when's a black person gonna, basing it off of color, saying Adele versus Beyonce was all based on color. No, it's not. Adele is more talented, very more talented than Beyonce is any day of the week. Amy Lee, Adele has the vocals like that, Amy Lee's type style. Beyonce's more, she's good, but she's more commonplace like Rihanna, Pink, Avril Lavigne, common names. They're good, but they're not true vocalist talent. So, the race issue coming into play here, which is, it kind of flabbergasts me because you're making an issue out of something that doesn't even need to be made an issue, I should say. Anyways, I got home, speaking of race, I got home yesterday after watching John Wick, and my wife, I come in, and my wife was watching Tyra Banks' show, America's Next Top Model. It's where girls go in, they compete. It's a reality show. I'm not much into reality TV, but, it was so late at night. By the time I got back in, I was just sitting down on the couch, and I was like, I'll watch it with her. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not one of these type of people that walks through the door, I don't like this, and then changes the channel. No, I'll sit there and I'll at least give it a shot, and try to enjoy it with my wife. And I started sitting there watching the episode. And the reason why race gets brought up into it is there's this girl. She's on there. She looks Asian, but you can tell she's not pure Asian. But it's because when my wife sat there and she says, based off of looks, which girl would you choose to be in America's Next Top Model? And I sat there and I was like, well, this girl. And I said, this one would be first, this one would be second, this one would be third. The Asian girl, I said, I think she'd be either second or third, because she looks predominantly Asian, and, just going off of basic visual acuity here. But she came on TV during an interview, and she says, what, she says, I know I look predominantly Asian. She says, but I want to be a role model for all women. And she says, I want to have an audience that reaches everyone. And I respected that ideology. She wasn't making race an issue. She said, I want everyone to appreciate me. I don't want to just target a specific demographic. I don't want, even though I look predominantly Asian, I want to make it off my own merits. I want to appease everyone. And I respected that. And then I think it was like a half hour into the show, a little bit later, some of the judges and stuff and some other people coming in, talking to them, and they were doing these harsh interviews, and they seemed off put by her not embracing her heritage, and were condemning her for not doing that, and they made race an issue for her, and she actually jumped on the bandwagon and says, well, yeah, I'll embrace my heritage and market myself towards the Asian community more, making race an issue when it should have never been an issue in the first place, like a lot of things that have happened in society here lately. There is another girl on there that has lupus. My wife got me to watch it, and I'm going to continue watching it until the end of this season, just because there is a girl on there that has lupus. She's a pretty girl. She is putting herself in harm's way, risking her health to be in this competition to accomplish what she wants. And I appreciate anybody who is pure, sure will. I can say will. I appreciate people who put out pure will. I do. and so I really want her to win. I know this is an old season. I could probably go online and find out who won. My wife says I think it is her because one of them did die, but you know, I don't know. I'm not much into reality TV series. I remember back during the day when The Real World came out, and reality TV was considered new and innovative at the time. I did enjoy it a little bit then, but I kind of fallen out of sync with it. It's kind of getting redundant and more than abundant anymore. So, but anyways, I just wanted to point that out because I thought that was funny. You know, that they, just like a lot of things in today's society, like the Beyonce versus Adele thing, people make race an issue when it doesn't even have to be a fucking issue. People only use that to try to win an argument, and that shouldn't be the case. You should base it off the merits that it is based on, and nothing more. You know, if you want to be a model and go through and you want to appease to everyone, that's the way you should approach modeling and being in the public spotlight. You want to appease everyone. When you break yourself down into just appeasing certain different demographics, you're eliminating yourself from a potentially bigger market. So I'm Mr. Anger. That's my thoughts for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I'm going to try to keep things more lighthearted. Y'all have a great day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, name it after me. I'm Mr. Anger. Have a good one. If I could find how to stop this daggone thing. Where's my daggone hand? My hand on here. Oh, connection lost. Of course, I'm filming an episode and my daggone trackpad here decides to go ninny-winny on me and die if I could ever find the hand. Let's see, I'm probably going to have to cut this part out. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to cut this part out. No, I actually leave it in just so y'all people can laugh at my ass. I don't care. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This episode's going to run a little bit longer. I'm going to get some batteries here. Hopefully the quality of my video should improve here soon. We are getting a new computer. It's going to be updated with, you know, better camera, better speakers, and stuff like that. So hopefully y'all get some upgrades here soon. Probably here in the next couple of weeks. And y'all can enjoy me in high definition quality and stare at my ugly ass face. Alright, let's see how these go here. Alright, there we go. Change these batteries I don't know how many times. I keep forgetting them, which way they go in and which way they don't, and all sorts of jazz. Alright. Why do they make these things? You know what? I swear. Sometimes you just want to beat the hell out of something. Why? Because it's fun. It's therapeutic. Why not? Oh, you son of a bitch. Yeah, I can't wait till we get a new one of these either. That'd be nice. This trackpad. I mean, this computer's 10 years old, ladies and gentlemen. It's done well. You know, I will say one thing about iMacs. You know, they're made to last. Everybody complains about the price of them. But 10 years, I mean, it's going on 11 years is how old this computer is. And it still works like brand new. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Anger. Well, daggone it. Of course, the fucking batteries I get don't want to work. God damn it. I thought that was a trail. I thought that was full of batteries that fucking worked. Of course not. Because it's a recharge. These are brand new batteries. They should have fucking worked. Oh, that was a recharge battery. That's why. We haven't used the rechargers in I don't know how long, so who knows what the hell's up with that. Alright, we working yet? Haha, green light. Green means go. Alright, sorry about the confusion for the extra time on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Angry. Y'all have a great day.